5 years after watching her family's killers walk free, Riley North has vanished from society, only to reappear as a relentless force of vengeance. With nothing left to lose, she hunts down those who betrayed her, leaving a trail of bodies and a city on edge. As the police close in, so does the cartel, but Riley's message is clear: justice will be served, one way or another. Hey guys, today we will be recapping the 2018 movie called Peppermint. The story begins with a tense, gritty scene in a car where Riley North is in the middle of a life-or-death struggle with a gangster. She's clearly fighting to survive, and after being slashed on her leg, she retaliates, putting a gun under his chin. Her face reflects a mixture of anger and hurt as she asks if he remembers her, a question met only with defiance. Without hesitation, Riley pulls the trigger, ending his life in a brutal final moment of vengeance. Afterward, Riley heads to a rundown neighborhood, seeking refuge in an old van where she lives hidden away from the world. Once inside, she tends to her bleeding leg and has a drink, gathering her strength as she goes through her sparse belongings. A box of Girl Scout cookies falls out, serving as a haunting reminder of a past life that seems almost impossible to imagine now. We are then transported back in time to 5 years earlier, when Riley's world was vastly different. In this earlier time, Riley is shown to be a loving mother to her young daughter, Carly. She's cheerful and playful, even as she navigates minor conflicts in her life, such as a spat with another mother named Peg. Peg is the type who takes Girl Scout cookie sales far too seriously, and she accuses Riley and Carly of selling on her turf. Despite this awkward encounter, Riley and Carly share a warm bond, laughing together as they make their way home. They stop to see Chris, Riley's husband and Carly's father, who's at work. Unbeknownst to Riley, however, Chris is in over his head with a dangerous group, plotting a shady deal with his co-worker, Mickey. Chris feels pressured and uncertain about the plan, but isn't quite sure how to back out. For now, though, Riley and Carly remain blissfully unaware of the dark path he started down. Riley heads to her bank job, where she's been a diligent and dependable employee. She's asked to work late, even though it's Carly's birthday, and she reluctantly agrees. When she finally makes it home, she finds Carly and Chris disappointed because no one has shown up for Carly's birthday party. It turns out Peg, the spiteful mother, threw a holiday party of her own and invited everyone, leaving Carly's party deserted. Not one to let her daughter be sad on her birthday, Riley suggests they go to the Christmas carnival instead, hoping to salvage the day with some family fun. As they prepare to leave, Chris makes a quick call to Mickey, telling him he's out of their shady deal. Unknown to Chris, however, he's already caught the attention of a powerful cartel leader named Diego Garcia. While torturing Mickey, Garcia learns about Chris's involvement and decides to take revenge. He orders his men to tail the family as they head to the carnival, setting a tragic plan in motion. The North family enjoys their evening at the carnival, laughing together as they eat ice cream and play games, seemingly safe and happy in their little world. But as they head back to their car, disaster strikes. Garcia's men lurking nearby open fire on them. Chris and Carly are fatally shot, and Riley herself is hit but manages to reach her husband and daughter just before darkness takes her. Riley wakes up in the hospital, grief-stricken and physically broken. Detective Stan Carmichael is there to meet her and informs her that the gangsters who killed her family have been caught. He hands her a photo booth picture taken at the carnival, a bittersweet reminder of her last moments with her loved ones. She is later brought in to identify the killers, recognizing each of them by their distinctive tattoos. As Riley prepares to testify, she's paid an unwelcome visit by Mr. Henderson, a smug attorney representing the gangsters. He tries to bribe her, suggesting she stay quiet, but Riley stands her ground and forces him out. He notices she's on medication, a detail that will later be twisted against her. During the trial, Henderson uses Riley's medication to question her credibility, painting her as mentally unstable and incapable of accurately identifying the killers. In a devastating turn of events, Judge James Stevens rules in favor of the defendants, allowing the killers to walk free. Furious and desperate for justice, Riley tries to attack the men in court, but she's held back by the bailiff while they mock her, secure in their freedom. Broken by the loss and injustice, Riley is taken away, her mind on the edge of collapse. As she's being transported to a psychiatric facility in an ambulance, she seizes an opportunity for escape. She strikes Carmichael, knocks him out, and disappears into the night, leaving behind the shattered remnants of her former life. 5 years later, Riley's story has transformed from one of victimhood to vengeance. Carmichael and his partner, Moises Beltran, are investigating the brutal deaths of the same men who killed Riley's family. They're stunned to find their bodies hanging upside down from a Ferris wheel, clearly a message from someone seeking justice on their own terms. Meanwhile, Riley is on a ruthless mission to bring her own form of justice to those who wronged her. She tracks down Judge Stevens, confronting him in his home. After beating him and even nailing his hands to the table, she ties him up with a rope. She makes sure he remembers her before she leaves, detonating the rope from a safe distance and blowing up Stevens in a fiery blast. As she leaves, Riley boards a bus carrying the weight of her mission. On board, she encounters a young boy and gives him a toy she took from Stevens' home, a rare moment of kindness that shows the motherly compassion still within her. However, when she sees the boy's father stagger out of a liquor store in a drunken state, she doesn't hesitate to act. She pistol whips the man, warning him to be a better father and threatening to come back if he fails his son. Riley's fierce dedication to her ideals of justice and family is clear. Riley takes the store clerk's car, leaving him some cash as a reluctant apology for commandeering his vehicle. As she drives away, Carmichael, Beltran, and their colleague Detective Inman are piecing together the evidence, convinced that Riley is behind the recent killings. They know that it's exactly 5 years since her family was murdered, a haunting anniversary that Riley has used to make her mark. After the heartbreaking events of the trial, Riley North's life took a sharp, dangerous turn. Driven by grief and rage over the loss of her family and the justice system's betrayal, she embarked on a crime spree, robbing a bank to gather funds and stealing high-grade military weapons from a secure warehouse. Then, she vanished from society, living entirely off the grid. Detective Carmichael is the first to connect the dots, receiving a call that confirms what he feared. Judge Stevens has been found dead, and the attorney, Mr. Henderson, who helped free Riley's family's killers, has also been discovered lifeless, face down in his swimming pool. This series of killings makes it clear that Riley is on a relentless path of revenge against everyone who had a hand in denying her family justice. Riley's journey then leads her to a piñata shop, a hidden hideout for more of Garcia's men. She arrives prepared, swiftly taking out 2 guards outside before charging inside. A chaotic gunfight breaks out as Riley faces off with the gang members, each moment a deadly dance of survival and retribution. One by one, she eliminates them, leaving only a man named Marvin alive. Knowing that his life depends on it, Marvin spills all he knows about Garcia to Riley, but his loyalty costs him. When he reports the incident to Garcia, the ruthless cartel leader executes him for leaking information. Furious at Riley's continued attacks, Garcia decides to end her vendetta once and for all. He sets a trap by luring her to an abandoned warehouse, hoping to catch her off guard. When Riley arrives, she discovers a bomb, a calculated ploy to kill her. She manages to hide and escapes just as the entire warehouse is blown to pieces, slipping through a narrow route in the sewers beneath the city. Determined to keep fighting, Riley steals a nearby car and tracks down Garcia's men, dispatching them one by one in a bloody pursuit of vengeance that finally leads her to Garcia's lavish home. Infiltrating Garcia's mansion, Riley takes down nearly everyone guarding him, her movements precise and merciless. She finally corners Garcia himself, aiming her gun at him, ready to end it all. But her resolve wavers when Garcia's young daughter enters the room. The sight of the little girl, who's around Carly's age, shakes Riley deeply, stirring a memory of her own daughter. In this moment of hesitation, Garcia seizes the opportunity, stabbing Riley in the side and escaping with his daughter and a few remaining guards. Injured and desperate, Riley seeks temporary refuge at Peg's house. Bursting in, she strikes Peg and enters to patch up her wounds. The tables have turned since Peg's spiteful act on Carly's birthday years ago, and Riley ties her up, coldly revealing that she knows Peg's husband left her for another woman. Peg is terrified, shaking so much that she wets herself. Riley leaves her in this state of humiliation, paying back Peg's cruelty with a chilling reminder of how far her life has fallen. Meanwhile, Detective Inman, dedicated to solving this escalating case, investigates Riley's trail in the rundown neighborhood Riley has often hidden in. She meets Carmichael there, unaware of his true loyalties. When Inman gets close to realizing that someone inside the police department is feeding information to Garcia, Carmichael reveals his dark secret. He's been Garcia's informant all along. In a swift, shocking move, he shoots Inman, silencing her for good. After Carmichael and Garcia meet up in the same neighborhood, Riley discovers Inman's body and finds her phone. She uses it to broadcast a live video, revealing Garcia and Carmichael's corruption to the world. The broadcast quickly reaches the media, and the news spreads fast, shining a harsh light on the city's hidden underbelly. As Riley's message goes public, it draws attention from police officers, reporters, and concerned citizens all gathering near Garcia's location. In a desperate attempt to regain control, Garcia grabs a walkie-talkie and calls out to Riley, threatening the life of a young girl from the neighborhood if she doesn't surrender. Driven by her sense of justice, Riley steps forward to confront Garcia, allowing herself to be captured. Garcia begins to brutally beat her, taking pleasure in her apparent surrender. However, His triumph is cut short as the police arrive on the scene, surrounding him. Realizing that his informant Carmichael has led him into a trap, Garcia turns on him and shoots him, blaming him for his downfall. Chaos erupts as Garcia's men are arrested, but he attempts to escape, slipping away in the confusion. Fueled by her mission, Riley chases after Garcia, unwilling to let him escape justice. She catches up to him, gun drawn, as the police also have her in their sights, urging her to stand down. Detective Beltran, who's watched Riley's journey unfold, begs her not to pull the trigger, knowing that killing Garcia will cost her any hope of redemption. But Garcia mocks her, sneering that she'll end up in prison for far longer than he will. Riley, fueled by a quiet but fierce resolve, replies with a chilling, "We're not going to prison," and fires, putting an end to Garcia's life once and for all. The police open fire on Riley, but her relentless instincts allow her to evade their shots. She escapes into the night, carrying the weight of her choices and the memory of her lost family. Beltran, however, feels he knows where she might be headed. He follows his instincts to the cemetery, where he finds Riley kneeling by Chris and Carly's graves, the exhaustion and sorrow finally breaking through her hardened exterior. She collapses, openly weeping for the family she lost, feeling the full weight of her journey. Beltran approaches her, and for a brief moment, Riley accepts her fate, ready to surrender and face the consequences of her actions. However, Beltran, understanding the complexity of her story, chooses to give her another chance. Riley is taken to a hospital, her wounds treated as she recovers. News reports quickly pick up on her actions, casting her in a complicated light. To the police, she is a vigilante who will answer for her crimes, but to the public, she has become something of a hero, a symbol of justice that the system had failed to deliver. As she lies in her hospital bed, handcuffed and awaiting an uncertain future, Beltran enters her room. In a final, silent gesture of compassion, he slips a key into her hand. Riley understands the message. She is being given a second chance to escape. Uncuffing herself, she quietly slips away, free once again but forever marked by the loss and sacrifices that have defined her journey. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.